should have seen us going. Passing the folks along the road, just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gathering along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races. We went to bleeding races.
Oh, it's back through Cottage!
1962 on a summer's afternoon, we took the bus from Bambras and she was heavy laden. Where we went along Collinwood Street, that's on the road to Bladen. Whoa, me lads, you should have seen us gunning, passing the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all with smiling faces, gathering along the Scotswood Road to see the bleeding races.
Yes, people, welcome back to another video. John Sinclair TV back again tonight. It's the match preview between Newcastle at Fulham. So it should be a cracking game. I've got Skibby, big Fulham fan. Big up to you, Skibby. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on. It'll be an interesting game, to say the least. And yeah, I'm interested in your thoughts as well. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, fantastic. I've got championship expert. And you've watched a lot of championship gear. I have to bring him on because he has been on for a long time. I got Annie, Bristol City fan. Big up to you, Annie.
Evening, everyone.
Brilliant. He has a lot to say as well, so beware, people. And he talks a lot of sense as well. So, guys, if you like the video, you like what you see, then please have to honor, give it a like, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. If you'd like to super chat, then it's open. Then you just give what the channel's worth. And how long against the last one? Give us a mind you fan. If you'd like to become a member, then click on the join button as well. It is 99p if you wish to become a member. So, Skibby, welcome to my channel, by the way, big Fulham fan. And look, I mean, welcome back to the Premier League. I think Marcus Silva's done a wonderful job getting you back up there as well. And how do you feel being back in the Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I forgot how it feels to be in the Premier League and actually winning games, to be honest. The last sort of couple of times that we've been in the Premier League, there's been all this optimism, the way that we sort of came up through the playoffs and things, and then they just get the transfers wrong. The tactics don't work, especially Scott Parker's tactics. They were very dire, to say the least. So that was a really tough watch. But no, there just seems to be a lot of a different buzz around Fulham at the moment. They're pressing teams. They're getting the goals as well. I mean, Mitrovic can't do it in the Premier League, but here he is with 6 goals in 8 games and, well, a hat-trick in the international break. So I think since the start of the season, he's now got 9 goals in 10 games for club and country, which is any other player, you'd be saying that he is top quality and almost world-class. So it's great to see him, now everyone's seeing the Mitrovic that the Fulham fans know, which is great. But I mean, just for us to go opening game of the season, Liverpool, I think I speak for most Fulham fans that we were expecting the worst, but we came out, we went toe to toe with them, didn't give them any time on the ball. I think that home advantage with the smaller pitch really counts for us. And I think we've got players now, we recruited really well. We've got Champions League experience with Bernd Leno in goal. Palhinha came in from Sporting Lisbon. Mana Sonoman, unfortunately, is injured at the moment, but came in from Shakhtar Donetsk off the back of a really successful Champions League campaign. We've brought in great players, and I think Palhinha is definitely the one that stands out for me. Just that person in the middle. He really reminds me of sort of like that Patrick Vieira, that really kind of captain type, takes no nonsense, and is just a fantastic player as well. So there's a bit of optimism around, if you can't tell.
Yeah, and you know what? They play some cracking football as well, Fulham, by the way, as well. They do like the high press, like you said, as well. Annie, what about this season first? Newcastle this season. Do you think Newcastle having a good season so far? Only one win this season, though, but too many draws.
Yeah, it's a weird one, really, because most of the performances have been quite good. Including the Man City one, it's been okay on the whole. A few VAR decisions which probably should have gone for Newcastle as well, and then probably the only most disappointing result was the home game to Bournemouth, which probably should have been. No, again, no respect to Bournemouth, but it should be one of those games where you go, you should really win this if you want to be a top half side, and couldn't do that. But overall, it's not been bad. If you look at it, big viewpoint, it's like it's one win. You're going into October now. It's not really good enough, but performances on the whole have been quite good. And yeah, I'd say if you're a Newcastle fan, you shouldn't be really concerned. Going into the future, and Eddie Howe, he's revolutionised that club, and to be fair, he's played a massive role in changing the style, culture, everything. Really, the quality of players that have come in and gelled immediately has been quite breathtaking, really. So, yeah, wouldn't have any really concerns if I was a Newcastle fan.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a nice word for Manny as well. For me personally, I have to agree with you. We shouldn't be so worried. He has a long season. We've got another 9 games to go before we go to the World Cup. And for me, I think it's going to be a exciting few games. But back to you, Skibby. Marco Silva. I mean, we said earlier on that he's taken over. I mean, he's been brilliant for you guys. He really, really has. Plays open attack football, high press. You know, yes, he's been at different clubs like Watford and Everton. Got sacked for both of those as well. For me personally, right, I think Fulham's a perfect job for him, if I'm honest with you. You know what I mean? And I mean, he just got to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was quite a risk for him, to be honest. When he did come in, it was an appointment which really kind of took us by surprise. That, you know, Marco Silva's come in the Championship, sort of off the back of, you know, you said he did really well at Hull. He was quite well respected at Watford, but then at Everton, there seemed to be a bit of a downturn. And then I thought for a minute, you know, given the sort of football that we had seen in the last couple of seasons in the Championship, that, you know, we had a squad where we thought we would really compete for the top, for the title. And then you sort of win the playoffs, which, you know, we thought, yes, we got up and we went through the playoffs, and it just seemed to be a little bit underwhelming, I guess, with the squad that we had. So we were thinking that if Marco Silva did the same again, sort of struggled with this, with the squad that we had, which was actually a very good squad that came down, that, you know, it could have finished his career if he didn't really kick on. So it was a very big risk for him to sort of take this sort of job, but it absolutely reaped rewards. I mean, we scored, I mean, Mitrovic alone, he's just transformed him into this absolute beast. 43 goals in, I think it was 44 games that he played in. But it's not just his goals alone. His work rate, he looks leaner. He looks leaner. He looks meaner. He doesn't get the red cards that everyone thinks that he normally got at Newcastle, and he just seems way more disciplined. His work rate is there for the team, and the fans absolutely love him. And it's all down to Marco. He's transformed some players, and some other players that I'd mention as well is Tim Ream. We all wanted him replaced at the start of this season, but he's cemented. We brought in Diop and Duffy, some Premier League experience, and they can't get a game because Tim Ream has just suddenly turned it on. And I think that's all down to Silva. It's been really amazing. And to be honest, I hope it continues. We were quite worried about it might be just a one season wonder. It seems to be the trend for Marco Silva, but no, he's looking like he's pushing on, and Fulham fans are happy. He seems happy, and the squad seems really happy, which is great.
Absolutely amazing. I mean, look, he got some players there as well, and he's turned the players around. I mean, what I like to see really is Bert Leonard and goal. A lot of people saying that he's mistake prone, but I think he's a decent keeper for me. Bert Leonard, he really is. I love that Paulinho as well in the midfield. I mean, 6'3" of him. My God, that guy can play football, and he really can play football. Yeah.
I mean, he's just ridiculous. I think Harrison Reed has to be given a lot of credit as well. Yeah. Him, Paulinho have been really good. Easily, he could have just gone with the experience of Tom Kearney, or even dropped Nathaniel Chalobah in there. He's went with Harrison Reed, and he's trusted him. To be fair, both of them look brilliant, and a lot of that down to Silva. And again, Fulham's midfield last season, yeah, it was good, but it could have been, it needed to be topped up, and Paulinho was now in hindsight was the perfect signing in doing so. Yeah, a lot of credit has to be given to Harrison Reed as well for maintaining that role.
Absolutely, that guy. I don't know if he cost something like 10 million. Is it 10 million it cost Skibby? 10
For
million?
Palhinha?
Yeah.
About 20, I think 22 million, I think it was. So, but he's looked worth every penny. But I mean, where we may have spent quite a lot on Palhinha, I think the Bernd Leno deal is the one that really stands out for me. I think we managed to, I think Arsenal were trying to hold us for ransom for around £8 million, plus add-ons as well. But we managed to get in for 3 million. And so when you look at a goalkeeper of that quality for £3 million, outstanding work for the recruitment staff. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I've got to read the people in the chat as well. If you've got any questions to Skibby, then just fire away. Just leave in the comments, and I'd be quite happy to answer them. Everyone's know where Tony is. He is out with the works at the minute, but he's going to try and come on for a bit. If he does, great. If he doesn't, you'll catch him tomorrow. So he deserves a day off anyway. But big up to Tony, by the way. He needs to have a good time as well. And yeah, just go on to Jeff's comment. Horrible little twat. He tied himself to the plus. Everything's given a 6 month, 6 weeks, isn't it? What an absolute muppet he did. You know what I mean? Real top of that game. And he came on and it completely disrupted the rhythm of our player. So thanks to him. For me personally, 6 months, and he should be banned for life. He's got a 3-year ban, by the way. Rightly so. Big up to Lee, by the way, from Pegswood. I think he's from Pegswood, by the way. I could be wrong. Big up to Mason. Big up to you. And 6 weeks here, I've got you. And Jack as well. Big up to you, mate. Looking forward to the Premier League return this week. 3-0 to Newcastle against Fulham. Jack, if you've been a bit generous there, mate. I hope you're right. Probably be a tough game. I think another draw. We draw too many games, haven't we? Big up to Dean from New Zealand. Good morning to you. Great to have a football back. You're absolutely correct. Dean, great to you. Big up, you mate. Tomorrow we need to mark Mitrovic very closely, keep him quiet and settle for a 0-0 draw. Even if Wilson's back, he'll not be 100% match fit. I hope my force is full of, you know, the rest of it as well. Thank you, Alan. 2-1 to the tune. We got a Guna fan here as well. Big up to Andy as well. I think you robbed the Schooners for Leno. Big game tomorrow. Come on, you Gooners. Big North London derby tomorrow. That'll be some game. And I got one from Lee as well. Riddington, he's silly. But it's not far away, though. It's not far away. I know Pegwood well enough, by the way. I know Pegwood quite well as I speak. Yeah, so what it is, so I'm going to share the screen. Right? I'm going to do like predicted two sides going to play out tomorrow. Right? I'm going to share the screen. Predicted lineups as well. If I can just fetch this up as well. And let's have a look. Where are we? Sorry about this, guys. I mean,
technology, eh?
It's technology, isn't it? You know what I mean? Just there you go. I'm telling Porkies, am I? Just winding you up there. There you go. We're gonna go with that tomorrow. That's the lineup. And I'll start with you, Andy. Right? Do you think Silva will choose that team tomorrow for Fulham?
Oh, look. Tim Ream's. I look at Tim Ream and I go, him at left back. I don't know. Yeah,
I feel the same if that means anything.
Yeah. Apart from that, yeah, Palhinha's suspended, so yeah, we've gone on about him, but he's not going to play. So, yeah, apart from maybe Tim Ream, I'd go with Skibby on this, but he's obviously the Fulham fan. Apart from Tim Ream, I'd say that's about right.
Yeah, I'll go. Is he suspended? Palhinha suspended?
He's suspended, yeah.
Oh, wow. I tell you what, that's a big miss for you guys. Big miss for you guys.
Huge.
Not for us, though.
Do you know why he got suspended?
5 bookings, right?
That's it. And he ran after he scored that belter against Forest. He ran into the crowd and got booked for it while he was on 4 bookings. We were all like, "We love you," but at the same time, I wish you hadn't.
Bloody hell! What an absolute muppet! Absolutely muppet. You can't go do that, man. Do you know what I mean? But big up to him, by the way, for doing that. And I mean, we got a last call, Macy, Devils United channel. She absolutely loved this player. She cannot stop chatting about this guy. Do you know what I mean? Macy might be in the chat, but I tell you what, she loves him that much. You know what I mean? She loves Portuguese football and she does wash off for Sporting Lisbon to the team. Okay, so So yeah, so what do you think of that team then, Skibby? Would you be happy with that team? Do you think it's going to make any changes on here?
Honestly, no. The reason being is because Tim Ream at left back. So against Forest, I think he did as well as he could. But it was very clear from our play that, we really tried to get the fullbacks involved in an attacking sense. So we really heavily rely on Robinson's pace and Tete's pace to get down the wing. And as soon as we brought in Tim Ream, and I know it's not his fault, but you're bringing in a 34-year-old centre back to play left back in the Premier League. You're really trying to force everything down the right-hand side. So we got really telegraphed in that first half. So it wouldn't surprise me. And I think I saw in Silva's press conference today that our backup left back is now ready to play. A lad we bought from PSG called Kazawa. So it wouldn't surprise me if Diop was back to the bench, Ream goes over to left back, and Kazawa starts at left back to give us that dynamic attacking fullbacks again. But in terms of the midfield, Kearney, I mean, is not a like for like replacement for Paulinho, unfortunately. But I mean, this will where Reed will come in, and where Paulinho and Reed's been given that kind of more attacking role, allowed to get forward more because he can rely on Paulinho. So Reed's now going to come in for that sort of defensive midfield role to allow Tom Kearney to come in and try and pull the strings from the middle. And the only other change I'll probably make is Willian. I think Dan James came to Fulham to play from Leeds United, so it wouldn't surprise me if we saw him on the right wing. But that's the only sort of changes. And Mitrovic is a bit touch and go. He had ice on his foot after the international game, so I think we'll see him, but I don't think we'll see him for the full 90.
Wow, I'll tell you what, when I heard first time he's going to be out injured, I thought, great. I have to say that. But
absolutely,
listen, we had him at Newcastle, as you well know, right? I mean, Rafa just didn't trust him at all. That is the problem, getting sent off all the time and stuff like that. But when he came, he's young, he's raw, and you know what? There's a player in there, man. But he scored some goals and stuff. But he scored loads at a minute. 43 goals last season. He mentioned 9 goals this season. I tell you what, our back four needs to be on par. And if you look at our team, 4-3-3, I'll look at that, right? I mean, Bruno needs to come in tomorrow. I've dropped Longstaff for a start. He ain't been good enough for us whatsoever. I think he's been poor. Fraser seems to be doing fantastic for Scotland, but not for Newcastle. Miron works hard for me, but he just hasn't got the star quality. He hasn't got the end product for me. He's just got left foot. He's open to support as well. Wilson's great to see him back when he does play, because Chris Wood's going to be out anyway. He's got a cracked rib, and Isak, our record signing, is out as well, getting injured for Sweden. So, Andy, what do you think of that team? I'd like to see Botman in as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. But yeah, I'd probably drop Dan Burn and put Sven Botman in. I mean, he's got to start from now on. He's didn't chase him all summer and pay that much money just to, keep him as second option to probably arguably stopgap. Yeah, I'd say the forward line is. John, do you know if Alan Saint-Maximin is going to be available or not?
He's going to make a late decision on him. Sort of, it's going to be a late call on him. But in my opinion, I doubt it very, very much, because at the end of the day, right? I mean, we could do with him. He's badly missed. He's having an outstanding season, ASM this season. I can't lie. But the thing is, though, Andy, right? We need him, because at the end of the day, he can make things happen. And if he had played yesterday, we would have had a good chance. But that goal he scored against Wolves, unbelievable. Should have got a second goal in the same game. But for me, we could have done with him, But if he is going to play, I think it'd be a subs bench. But you know what Eddie Howe's like, just keeps his car close to his chest, in my opinion. So, yeah, I hope he does come tomorrow. If he doesn't, he should be back for the Brentford game. I'll be up there as well.
Yeah, that's so Maximan. Let's say you're right, and he doesn't start. Then that's probably the front three you go for, really. No Isak, no Wood. Wouldn't touch Jacob Murphy. Keep him at home. He was okay for Sheffield Wednesday, and then it just fell off. But that's probably the front three I'd go for as well. Maybe Eddie Howe would go with Botman Dan Burn instead of Cher and Botman. That's kind of like it doesn't. Yeah, Cher's got the ability to progress the ball probably better than Dan Burn, and that Botman has the same ability, and he probably complements Dan Burn in that regard. But they're both left-footed as well. So, yeah, a lot of decisions for Eddie Howe to be made, which he's already probably made, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I mean, me personally, if Bruno don't make it, I like to see Fabian Scheer midfield and bring in Botman and have it that way. I think that would be absolute good formation there. But Bruno has to play because he makes things happen. You know what I mean? He's not going to be 100% Bruno. Maybe he's not. But at the end of the day, if he's in the team, he'll make a difference. And Isak, we badly miss him as well. I think he's a cracking player, but he's not like an away game player. Do you know what I mean? So I think, real talk, I think it's going to happen tomorrow, sort of thing. So he's going to be out for a month or so. So again, see what happens. Going some more comments as well. Big up to Lee, by the way. Shout out to Pegrivo. Thanks for that. John, is that Skibby Grealish on the panel? You look at Jack Grealish, so he does, doesn't he?
Yeah, I get that quite a lot now. Just
Jack,
I mean, if I had his calves, mate, I'd be laughing. So there you go.
Yeah. Or worth 100 million quid.
Wow. Oh, that too. Yeah, I mean, that's also a bonus.
That'd be amazing, man. Exactly. Yeah, so got on for Alice. I thought Bruno is back, or he is back, mate. He is back playing tomorrow. But what they've done here, take out Longstaff, and then Willock needs to fix up as well, because at the end of the day, he's playing with his handbrake on. Unfortunately, I love him, but hey ho. It goes to no Longstaff, that's an Allen. Even though to Leicester, that's absolutely fine, mate. Fitz. Yeah, getting me. I'm surprised Tim hasn't went back to MLS. I think he should be finished his career over the States. What's your take on that one?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he did, but he's been, as I mentioned, he's sort of under a resurgence. So he's still playing at the top of his game in the Premier League. So I think he's probably, I reckon this is probably his last season in the Premier League. But I can't see him moving in January. He's playing too well. But yeah, I can see him going over to the MLS at the end.
Yeah, which is the thing. I mean, if he does go, I wish him all the best of luck, because he's been a great servant in English football. Do you know what I mean? But he's a good player, but he's not a mega player. But that's my opinion. Disagree. Drop Shah. That's in Lee, Dan Burn and Botman. I thought Share had hamstring issues after the last whistling game. Well, I didn't know that, but if that is true, then I think you need to get Botman in no matter what. Get him in. I'm in the Hoos, Sefton. Yes, you're in the Hoos, baby. Yo, yes. And he's got a great website as well, which I'm going to bring up to the end of the show. No 20 tonight, John. He's out with the works do by the sounds of it. And he's here to try and get back. If he doesn't, then he'll be back on tomorrow, mate. So I think he's out tonight. And listen, at the end of the day, he's got to enjoy himself. So, and yeah, big miss, Tony. Big miss. So for me, I'll just give him a 1-game ban. Fulham should do the right thing and drop Mitro. That's from Foxy. Now, Foxy is the South American expert as well on my channel as well. And he's a great guy, and he's a big Newcastle fan as well from the Midlands. Willock needs to pull his finger out. That's really, I totally agree, mate. Totally agree, because I want to see Joel where he was when he first came and joined. So, yeah, so I don't know if you watched the press conference, Skibby, about Silva and Eddie Howe. And, you know, he says some good things about Eddie as well. He was asked about Newcastle, right? And he said that Eddie Howe has made a huge impact. The power that they've shown in the past 2 transfer windows, the players they signed, and the quality makes them a real tough team to beat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think he's right there. So, obviously, Marco is complimentary to Eddie Howe. Took it off Eddie Howe, right? I mean, what do you think of him as a manager?
Eddie Howe, I mean, yeah, he's been always sniffing around the big jobs. Every time there's been a big job coming up, like the sort of the Chelsea, the Spurs, they've always talked about Eddie Howe being sort of linked when he was sort of back at Bournemouth. And just the fact that he managed to keep Bournemouth in the Premier League and competing on a shoestring budget is nothing less than phenomenal, really. It just shows how great of a manager he is. So, and I think for the project now that Newcastle were building, was the best fit for Eddie Howe. So if he was to go for that big club where expectations are sky high from the get-go, he might struggle because he would really need that time to sort of build a team. But the fact that, you've got these new owners, a new 5-year plan that Eddie can now lead and not expect anything overnight, unbelievable. And I think that's exactly what I wanted to say about Newcastle is, you may have only had a 1 win and all these draws, but you're still a sleeping giant in my eyes. The players that you signed, Isak, Bruno, are great players that one day it's just going to click. And I'm hoping it's not tomorrow, but it's going to click. And you're just going to skyrocket up the league for me. I mean, you saw it at the end of last season where I think, apart from sort of the Man City and Liverpool, I think you were the most informed team in the Premier League after Eddie Howe came in. And I think that's just going to continue as soon as that clicks in this team. No injuries, everyone's fresh fit. You'll see the rewards.
Absolutely. I mean, look, we got the takeover as well, and come on to later on, ask you the question of that. Annie, look at the Newcastle team, and how crucial is Bruno and ASM when he does play? I mean, comment to that question. I know they're crucial, but are they the most important players for Newcastle United?
Yes. Yeah. Bruno's definitely the most important player in that team. 100%. He orchestrates everything. Everything that goes through the team is more than likely through Bring Rush, and it's one of he's one of those players where Newcastle just blessed to have him in that midfield. He's just, his passing is outrageous. His leadership is on the pitch as well is really, really good. His goal scoring ability and ability to get forward is also really good. So yeah, I'd say he's the most important player in that Newcastle team, and I'd say Newcastle have him on the pitch, they're a lot more likely to win the game, no matter who it is.
Absolutely. I mean, look, at the end of the day, when we came in for him, I thought, you know what, he wants Champions League football because Juventus wanted him as well, and Arsenal wanted him as well. But we got him, and he loves the town, he loves the city, he loves everything about himself. When he asked the press back home, his homeland in Brazil, he was asked a question, how happy is he in Newcastle? And you know what? He just cannot stop talking about him, and he's been amazing. I mean, just to answer your question as well, Skibby, give us 3 players you would take for Newcastle United.
3 players?
In your team, yeah.
I would take Saint Maximin, of course. I don't think there's anything really needs to be said about that. I think Bruno in the middle, as you mentioned, just makes things happen. And it's just, I think the centre midfield is just such a crucial position. I think we managed it with Palhinha. Bruno does the same thing for Newcastle. And I'd probably take Matt Targett just for sentimental purposes. He was amazing for us. I'm really annoyed we didn't get to sign him permanently from Southampton. So I'd happily have him back. So Targett, Bruno, and Saint Maximin.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good shout now. That's a good choices there. So I have to ask that question. So if I do a match preview, so it's a bit of game as well. So Alessandro Mitrovic is now playing tomorrow. Some minds going on here, like I think could be a late call on this guy, but according to Skibby, he could play, but he might not play for the full 90 minutes. Some mind games it should have been said. And John Ladd, how's he keeping fine? He is absolutely fine. No Tony tonight by the looks of it, like he is out. He should be back tomorrow. So I should try and get him on tomorrow. Could do the warm-up tomorrow. Depends on time I get finished work and get my car service. We should see. Scooby Howe will grow the team. Best opportunity for him. And Scooby swap target for Botman. Wow.
No. I'm too sentimental. No, part of me's thinking yes, but part of me's thinking no. Target, just we'll need that left back. I'll be kind to you. I'll leave you Botman. You can keep him.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, because you're going to keep Botman anyway. Botman anyway, he's a class that is well. So, what's been your as a Fulham fan? What has been your great moments being a Fulham fan?
Oh, There's a question. I think the European run has probably been one of the best moments of in my lifetime for Fulham. Just the beating of Juventus 4-1, the run to the final. And when you look at the squad that we had, we shouldn't have been anywhere near that competition. Like, we had Bobby Zamora, Zoltan Gira, Danny Murphy, that was, seemed to be days from retirement. It just, for some reason, like we said with sort of Marco Silva in the Championship this year, or in the last year, that under Roy Hodgson, it just seemed to all click. So I think those European nights was something that I'll never forget. But then also the playoff final against Aston Villa. That was the first time Fulham had been at Wembley since 1975. So to witness that, be there with my dad and some friends, it was just a great moment. And to walk away Wembley as winners as well, I think that really helps. So a Wembley day out always got to be top on my list.
Good for you. Good for you. Like I said, go with Annie as well. Obviously, you lost the championship as well. I mean, obviously, let's talk about Bristol City. But you're doing well, are you? Bristol City now. You lost the last 2 games, but quite reasonable this season. He's turned it around,
Yeah, it's actually not been that bad. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is Middlesbrough, West Brom, Coventry, Hull, all below us. Like just waiting to pounce up the league. Ninth at the moment. Yeah, it's quite good. A lot of goals going in. It's overall, yeah, very happy with how we started. Just need to keep the positive momentum going, because I know it sounds a bit like, it doesn't sound great, but the videos that have been coming out from on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter and whatnot from the City admin and the individual players themselves just seems like there's a cohesion and we're all pulling in the same direction, which we really haven't had since 2017-18 under Lee Johnson, where we went on that FA Cup run, EFL Cup run. So yeah, since then it's all been a bit disjointed, and finally something, it seems like we're pulling together and aiming for the same thing, and hopefully that's anyway near the playoffs, and I'll walk away from May happy man.
Good for you. Good for you. Fingers crossed you make it this season. Fingers crossed. See, my thing would be Joe, Bruno, and Maxi. ASM. Big up to Sean. Hope you're right, mate. Big up to Mighty Mag. Wish you had Mitro. Should never have sold him. That's Rafa's decision to sold him, by the way, mate. And we look at that now. I mean, it's just, would I take him back? Now he's experienced, probably would. But at the same time, sort of thing, I mean, that's not Eddie Howe, but we'll see how it goes on that. But probably moved on from Mitro, let's be real. But wish him all the best at Fulham Football Club. Let's go on to Hello Skibby. Go to Mumbian, that's NUS 1892.
I have a feeling I know who that is.
Yeah, I don't think his wifey are like that as well, by the way. Big up to Ian, big up to you, my guy, and we're here. Gentlemen, hope you're well, mate. I'm absolutely great. Annie, you're okay, you're mucker, even to the guest lads, and well for me. And Tommy, big up to Ian. We'll be back up to the match. Hope to see you soon in a week's time. Couple of questions. Skibby, if Rodrigo Muniz does well at the border on loan, does he still have a future at the club? And were fans disappointed to lose Anguissa to Surrey in the summer? Anguissa, I want to chat about him, man. I'm a talent. I love Surrey football. This guy has been absolutely fantastic in the midfield for Napoli. Do you still miss Anguissa?
Yeah, and I think there's a real split between the Fulham fan base on Anguissa, because he never really wanted to be here, I think, especially after that, because the year he came in was our sort of first year back in the Premier League since the 2013-2014 season. And then as soon as it didn't click and we were struggling, he went missing. And then when we got relegated, he was one of the first to really throw his toys out the pram and try and push that move away. I think he went on loan. I can't remember where he went on the first time, but then, you said Napoli. And then we get relegated again under Parker. And again, he was the first one out to Napoli. So everyone just saw that he didn't want to be here. He didn't want to help the cause. That, when we got relegated, Mitrovic stayed, Tom Cairney stayed, the big teams. I mean, even last year, Jean-Michel Seri stayed. one of the big earners at the club, and he did amazing for it. You know, it really helped him. But for me personally, Anguissa, absolute baller. And part of me still wishes we had him, because Paulinho in the middle, I know I keep talking about him, but I'll never stop talking about him. Paulinho in the middle with Anguissa, we'd be challenging for top 4. I'm not even being funny.
Wow.
But that's how good of a player Anguissa is. The ball sticks to him, like you've probably seen in Serie A. He just runs with the ball, and no one get the ball off him. It's unlikely that you see a player of his stature and sort of size, and the way that he moves, he glides along the pitch. He just takes the ball, dribbles past people, kind of. And I'm going to get a lot of hate for this. I know I am, if there's any Fulham fans watching. But he reminded me a little bit, not the top end, but of a bit of Moussa Dembele when we had him. Just he would pick up the ball, he could win it back because he was a big lad, and he just glide across the pitch. Not in the same way that Dembele did, but similar. And I could see he was still a young player. And to be honest, I'm gutted he's gone. But at the same time, I'm glad he's doing well. I'd like to see him score against Liverpool in the Champions League. Fair play to him. He's found his feet in Napoli, and good luck to him.
Fan favourite as well at Diego Maradona Stadium as well. Massive fan of him. Massive. As to Seri, where's Seri now like? Where's he gone to?
He's gone to Hull City, yeah.
Why? Why, Seri? Why? Honestly, look.
Sorry, go on.
Look, Jean-Michel Seri last season was... I watched him when Fulham came to Ashton Gate. We actually came out with a point. I don't know how. But every time he got the ball...
There you go.
Every time he got the ball, it felt like he could keep the ball for 10 minutes and he wouldn't lose it. It was literally ludicrous. The passing ability on him was just brilliant. I still bang Jean-Michel Seri's drum today.
Yeah,
he's just ludicrous at this level. I don't know how Fulham managed to keep him in the Championship, and B, how managed to sign him on a 3-year deal. Honestly, him and Ozan Tufan for Hull have been brilliant. But yeah, this season he's been standing in a pretty crap Hull side. They've not been great. So yeah, Jean-Michel Seri again. He scored a goal against us, first game of the season, 93rd minute, screamer, bit of a deflection, but a screamer.
Yeah.
And I looked at the goal and went, Jean-Michel Seri, don't give him that space at the edge of the box. Well, what do you expect? So yeah, he's been brilliant for Hull. He was brilliant for Fulham last season.
And I thought he would actually play a part in the Premier League this season. Not starting, obviously, but coming off the bench. You know, if we're trying to hold on to a result, I thought he was a perfect player to come in, shore up that midfield. Like you say, he can pick a pass. He's calm on the ball. But I think there was some problems with the wages, that, you know, he was on too high of a wage to be a backup midfielder. Therefore, we had to let the contract go, unfortunately. But no, like I said, I'll always be a fan of Seri. I'll always want to see him do well. So I hope he hits the ground running with Hull. I thought he did, getting the goal in the opening day, as you said. But hopefully he kicks on from there and does what he does best, which is just picking those assists out like nobody's business.
Brilliant.
John, can I just quickly on Rodrigo Muniz as well for Borough? Look, Muniz, he's played mainly in a 1 up top with a 10 behind him in Riley McGree for Borough. And he's not really been great. If he starts in a front 2, which is what all Borough fans want, start Muniz in a front 2 with whoever else. It looks like Muniz will click under Wilder, but it just hasn't so far. Look, he didn't really get a chance last season because Mitrovic was, Mitrovic. And how are you going to get looking into that? It just seems unfair. So, yeah, this is his opportunity to take. If he doesn't take it, then I can't really see him in a future in the Premier League if Fulham do stay up in the Premier League with Fulham.
Fair enough, fair enough. Wishing you all the best on that one as well, Seri and Minis as well. Tony, how we doing, man? He's my co-host, Skibby. Goes on my shows as well. How you doing till you made it?
Yeah, I've just got back, mate. Yeah, well, I've been back about 5 minutes. Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Working abroad, man. And we're talking about tomorrow's game between Fulham and Newcastle and at Craven Cottage. And it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be a tough game. And what's your thoughts for tomorrow, Tony, on the game? And
well, yeah, it is going to be a tough game, John. I mean, no bones about it because Fulham have done well in the Premier League this season. They weren't in my tip to go down, by the way. At the start of the season, my tip to go down is Bournemouth, Everton, and Leeds. So Fulham weren't even in that section. The problem is Leeds have done so well, so I can't see Leeds dropping out now. So I may have to change my mind somewhat, or stick with my 3. But going back to tomorrow's game, is going to be a tough game. I'm not sure what to make of the Mitrovic situation. He came off the other night and had a bandage around his foot. Now, whether he's fit or not is another matter. If he isn't fit, then that is a bit of a boost for us, but I hope we play Botman from the start. I'm not sure if Shaw's available or not because I know he got picked up some sort of injury for Switzerland the other night, even though he played the whole game. So I'm not sure on that one. It may have to be Botman and Byrne. And Byrne going against one of his old clubs as well, Fulham. So, yeah, it'll be a tough game. I also saw a snippet this morning from Lee Ryder that Isak's been training and could be included in the squad tomorrow. So I don't know how true that actually is. I've not really seen much during the day if to say that that's happening or if he's definitely out injured. The only thing I can think of is, has Isak said he's got some sort of injury because he didn't want to play for Sweden, maybe because he wants to concentrate on Newcastle United. We just don't know. Some player, it might not be that. The fact is, Sweden might just be sitting like in the Nations League. They're not going to get relegated and they're not going to get promoted. And it might have been the thought, well, I'm going to be playing 2 pointless games, yeah.
Yeah.
If I say I've got a leg injury, they might just send me back home to Newcastle. And, so if he is around the squad tomorrow, then I'll be very surprised and I'll be happy with that if that's the case. Looks like we've got Wilson back, St. Maximin back, and Bruno as well. I'm still going to stick with my prediction I said on our Premier League show the other night, John, and that's I'm still going to say that we'll sneak it 2-1. I think that's a fair enough shout. I think even if Mitrovic plays, Botman will handle him anyway. And I know he'll want to get one over us because he'll want to prove a point against us. But what he's got to remember is it was Rafa who got rid of him, but yeah, I think 2-1 to us, John. And, but even so, even if it's a point, I'll take a point. At the end of the day, it's a positive, whether it's a point or 3 points. Anything like that's a positive, so yeah, I'm saying 2-1. I'm sticking my neck out for 2-1.
Good man. Going for the constant comeback is giving in a bit. And it's nice to see Mitrovic doing well for Fulham, but people need to start craving for him back. Times has changed. Ian, miss your comment, mate. Yeah, John, me and Tom will come and say hi next week for the match, bro. Looking forward to that, my mate. And a new Aussie signing. We can bring Andy Cole back, Andy Cole song, yeah. And breaking news, we got Cole today. If I pronounce his name correct, because I was at work the day all day. So Glenn Cole, I signed for Newcastle. I don't know how many years. Cole. Got a cool. I said cool, didn't I? Cool. Thank you, man. I get there. Cool. So I don't know how many years it's going to be. We soon find out very, very soon. Times do change. Unfortunately, people think the sun shines out of Rafa's hands. Just a mistake, let Mitrovic go. 10 men behind the ball and pump it up front. No different to Big Sam's football, Aston Liam. Is he going back to Australia on loan? My guess is I think he ended up going to Portugal. Which club that'll be, I've got no idea. I mean, Stuttgart want them as well, by the way. Save to Hull seems a bizarre move. Oscar Estepinian as well as another great sign considering how bad Hull are. And he knows them very, very well.
Tell me about it.
Exactly. There you go. Europe on loan, unless he features heavily in the World Cup and gets a work permit, which chance he may come straight in. Carlos, you put it in. Carlos, big to Carlos. Hi, John. Hi, Ala Coffee. I hope you're okay. I'm having a fantastic day. Ari, Tony's in the house. Smash the likes, man, for the legend. Thank you, Liam. Thanks so much indeed, my guy. Silva looks like a world-class Premier League striker.
I can tell you it's just a look. I definitely can't play football very well.
He does, doesn't he? People still got Jack Grealish live, you know. Dan Burn Hatmakers on the cards. Fulham definitely not getting relegated as people did it earlier on. I agree. 3-1 the tune. Bruno is due for an autumn goal. That's the case. I want to ask Simi about Joe Bryan going to Nice and what's this his fault. So what's your thoughts on Joe Bryan going to Nice? I think that's a surprise to me. Like,
it was a random one, but I can see why he went on loan. He wasn't getting the minutes because of Anthony Robinson playing so well, and he really suits the Premier League and the way that we play. But Joe Bryan will always be a hero for Fulham. The 2 goals against Brentford in the playoff final in that COVID season, already written himself as a legend. But I think it's good for him. I mean, he to sort of go out of his comfort zone, try and sort of cement a place. And to be honest, if this loan goes well, it wouldn't surprise me if he was to join them permanently. Especially now they sort of built this kind of very weird team in Nice. I think they've got Ross Barkley as well. So, and I think I've even seen rumours now that Scott Parker might be going to manage them. But I don't know whether that was any, whether that was any, whether that was a certain or not, or any truth behind it. But if Scott Parker manages Nice, you know, with Ross Barkley in midfield and Joe Bryan at left back, it's very, very strange. But no, I wish him all the best, but unfortunately, it wasn't gonna. He was always going to be that backup left back for us this season. So, yeah, I wish him the best.
Yeah, what's your take on that then, Scott Parker? Then, Andy, Scott Parker to Nice. It's like I know Faber's going to get sacked anyway.
If you don't mind, I'll just talk about Joe Bryan for a bit.
Go for it.
Honestly, I love the man to bits. He was brilliant for us. Deserved his Premier League move. In the end, to Fulham, shame it hasn't really worked out. But yeah, a few games where you've gone, that's what Joe Bryan's all about. He's a top quality championship left back and probably decent Premier League left back as well. You asked about Scott Parker, didn't you? Look, I've never rated Scott Parker. I've never rated him. When he was sacked by Bournemouth and I saw all the outrage, I was like, he deserved to be sacked last season, let alone this one. I don't know how he's managed to kind of get his way and find his way to be in the Premier League yet again. He's a manager, if you want to call him that, who relies on having massive income and massive advantages in leagues. He had that at Fulham. He had that at Bournemouth, and he's not had that in the Premier League, and he's failed both times, and failed the third time even. So look, it's fairly simple now. The pattern with Parker, if you give him a parachute payment job, he'll kind of scrape over the line. Again, playoff win with Fulham when they really should have bossed that division. Bournemouth scraped over the line and didn't even have a massive points tally to get them. They were one or 2 points below an average second place promotion. So arguably they shouldn't have really been promoted automatically. And Premier League, obviously 3 times, 2 relegations, 1 sacking, 4 games into the Premier League season. So look, Parker, give him a parachute payment job, he'll get you up, maybe. Throw him into Nice, then he is going to get utterly found out. He's going to get. It's just a weird squad, isn't it? And so I don't see that happening. And if it happens, well, good luck to him. But it's what he's proven so far. Well, don't see it working out.
I won't even wish him luck. I wish he fails miserably if he does.
I hate him, man. Hate the man.
Wow. And Tony, what about you? Quickly go on to our main game. Scott Parker to Nice.
Oh, well, it's a strange one, isn't it? I mean, he didn't cut it with Fulham, really, did he? And he didn't, he got Bournemouth back in the Premier League, and then he had that swipe after the 9-0 defeat from Liverpool. And he deserved to be sacked for that. If any manager wants to have a go at their chairman or their owners, then they deserve to get a sack for doing stuff like that. I don't know how he's going to do much better at Nice, to be honest. I mean, Nice, I'm sure, could do a lot better than Scott Parker as a manager. The manager that's currently there, if you remember, Favre was actually linked to us when we sacked Steve Bruce. So I'm surprised he's actually struggling, to be fair, because he's quite a good manager. But you see, the thing is, when you look at Nice, they've brought all these different players in. Schmeichel, and they brought Barkley in, It's just a weird one, the way they've brought all these different players in. And it's a bit like the Forest situation. These players have got to gel. And, if they're not gelling, it's not the manager's fault. It's the fault of the owners, and that's why you see in Forest where they are second bottom at the moment, because their 22 players can't gel, or 23 players, as they've signed, can't gel. So, and that's why everybody's going to have a good, everybody's probably going to be glued to their TV screens on Monday night for the El Sacchio game, because one of those managers on Monday night will be sacked. And I believe it'll probably be Rodgers, because I think Forest will turn up and beat Leicester.
Yeah.
Because Leicester are having a shocking season. And, I can't, and not being funny, to sell their best centre-half a day before the transfer window shuts, and then sign a replacement from France, a Belgian, who can't even cut it in the Premier League so far. It's a shocking decision from them. So, they're getting what they deserve, Leicester, unfortunately. And this is the position they were back in 1983. And the last time they were in this position in 1983, they got relegated. So history has it that this is history repeating itself yet again. So, so it'll be it's an interesting one, no, John. But to be honest, I can't see Scott Parker lasting long there. And I don't know if you saw this news, John. I'll actually put this on screen.
Okay, I'll go over the comments as well while you do that, mate. Big up to Cenk, by the way. Hi to you from Cyprus. Alan said Andy Parker so much better managing than Steve Bruce. That's
massive.
Don't
like Scott Parker at all. But yeah, go on.
Fair enough. Big up. I've got one to give you. So, can you remember George Best and Roddy Marsh playing for Fulham? I can.
showing your age there, Alan.
Wow.
Yeah, back in the day, yeah, for sure.
I think they were both brilliant, man. Can you imagine them playing now? I'll tell you, Fulham probably get in the top 60.
I think at the same time, I think we had Best, Rodney Marsh, and Bobby Moore as well at the same time.
Yes.
It was really strange in the second division.
Wow. Big up. Big up to those two legends of the game. Sadly, George Best sadly passed in 2005. Bruce fights for relegation with West Brom. Yes, indeed. And blast of the pass. Hugo Rodilega, still playing 37, came on 17 minutes sub last week and got sent off for Bahia in Brazil. He was good at Wigan. How did he do at Fulham, in your opinion?
Yeah, he was a good player. He was a trier. I think that's the only thing. I mean, yeah, he didn't get as many goals as we'd want, but it was the fact that, once I think he would sort of in the Berbatov days, he would sort of come off the bench and nick the odd goal, but he would just work his socks off. But and I always remember in the season we got relegated, we went away to Villa, and he got, I think it was the first goal in a 2-1 win, and we were thinking, we're going to push on now. We're going to stay up. It's giving us hope, but it wasn't to be. But no, Roddy Jaeger, always a trier. Always rated him, and I'm glad he's still playing. Actually, good on him.
How many marks out of 10 would you give Hugo at your time of Fulham?
I'll give him. I mean, my expectations are always, or the standards are always high. So I'll give him a 7.
A 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10. Good man. I've got one here from Gary D. Oh, Gal got a bone to pick you, my guy. Right? Put the respect in those lasses' name, on their lasses' name, yeah? Because he said about Man United today, right? Saying that those followers again. And we had people like Gillian had a game in what for, Floss game in what for, and King game in what for as well. Thank you very much indeed. Gary, we love you, man. Forest not to Leicester out of the cup last season. Yes, they did. Where could Fulham finish this season? It's gonna be your opinion. Where would you like them to finish?
Realistically, 17th. I'll be over the moon with. I'll be happy with 17th. But given the way we started the season, and if we can continue it, no injuries, especially to Mitrovic, I think we could potentially go for about 14th. I think is a realistic place I'd like to see us finish. But any lower than that, as long as it's out of the relegation zone, I'm absolutely fine with it. Bite your hand off the 17th at the start of the season. So, but 14th I think is a fair assessment.
I'd say so. I think you probably finish 13th, mate, in my opinion. I was going to be saying, what was that, John? You're a Man U fan. Listen, this is not Man United. This is Newcastle United. Yeah, and United do not play with Fun 88. Yeah, so
Mason, you're going to go for long Keegan there.
Yeah, nah. Mason's fun because anyway, so he's a weird guy. So I'm not a red. Go to see Macy. If you don't win tomorrow, I'm losing it. Mikey, please don't, man. Please don't. But he gets up quickly, yeah, because Tony's posted up first. We talked about it earlier on, lads, and he's got a 6-month prison sentence.
A 6-week prison sentence.
And a 3-year ban.
Yeah, he's got a 6-week prison sentence and a 3-year ban from all football. This guy is just a total muppet, John, in my eyes. I mean, he's one of the reasons why we lost that game against Everton. And not only that, it wasn't just down to him. Obviously, it was down to Dubravka's positioning for the goal as well, which led to the defeat. But had he not done that, that extra time wouldn't have come on for Everton and they wouldn't have won that game. But also, what I'm still waiting to see is when the repercussions for Everton are going to be handed out to them over this, because not only that, the questions I want to ask, the questions that I asked at the time when this incident happened was, where were the stewards? How did he manage to get on the field and actually strap himself to the goalpost with a cable tie? Yes, he might have had it already sorted just to do it, but to do it so quickly as he did, to not even get challenged.
Yeah.
And then what you have is a numpty of a steward. A guy in the crowd says, "Oh, do you want to use this knife to cut the strapper, to cut the cable tie?" And the guy says, "Oh, that won't cut it," and then hands it back to the guy in the stands. Now, come on, it's just absolutely a farce. And Everton should have been done for that, because at the end of the day, that steward has actually took an offensive weapon off somebody and then handed it back to him. And some people might argue saying, yes, it was a work knife, but that's besides the point. At the end of the day, a bladed item was taken into a football ground and it should not be happening. Yes, I know we don't get searched going into football grounds, but I personally think we should be searched, because things like that should not be going into a football ground, especially a knife. And whether it's a safety knife, a work knife, or whatever, it should not be allowed in the ground. Don't know what your opinions are on that, but at the end of the day, I think Everton's got away with this one.
Massively. Absolutely massively. You should have got a charge from the FA as well. But then again, you said about Dubaka's position as well. ASM lost the ball in midfield, trying to be clever for me. And he needs to be blamed for that as well, in my opinion. And I did put, and you did, Gary, you did, but they like you. They know about it, all respect. For him is Paul. Paul? Nah. To be honest, he's had a few chances to the Everton game for the INSTA. He did as well. Chris Wood's one of them as well. And Annie, Jeffrey Dahmer, look-alike.
That is a brilliant name. That is a brilliant name.
Brilliant name.
That is a brilliant name.
Brilliant
Looks like him, doesn't it?
It does. He does, man. Oh, brilliant, man. So,
but
they
should have, but after that, I think they were stopping a lot of them getting in because if you think though, but you would have thought security would have been tightened up by the time that game happened, because if you remember, I think it was Tottenham game, Tottenham West Ham, a protester came on the pitch from that same thing, Just Stop Oil. Now, when that happened, and they tried to tie themselves to a post and they got challenged, the stewards were straight on them, which is brilliant. But after that, everywhere should have been strict. And the thing is, so with Everton, them stewards the club should have been done for that, because one, their stewards have allowed that guy to get on the field. And I mean, I'm not being funny, John. It would take you more than 30 seconds to get yourself strapped to a post, even if you've got the cable tie ready to put on. So, it's just... So what were the stewards doing was one of my questions back then. How were Naif able to go on the field and then be handed back, which is absolute stupidity in my eyes. I'm sorry, Everton deserved to have the book thrown at them for that, and they seem to have just got away with it, like they did with the Richarlison Flair incident. And it was funny because they banned him after the season finished. Why didn't the FA have the balls to ban him during the season? Because they didn't want Everton being relegated. That's why, John. Exactly. Another conspiracy.
Totally agree, Tony. Yeah, I mean, he did get some charge for it as well for throwing the flares back into the crowd, rightly so. But Everton should have got charged for it as well, for the game dispute as well. So I think Everton's been getting away for a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things, but
FFP as well, John. They're getting away with that as well, aren't they? Because apparently they're saying it's down to COVID now, and it's like, yeah, okay, but I don't know if I'm not sure if the court case is still going ahead, but I know Leeds and Burnley are going to we're thinking on taking action against Everton in the courts over that.
I agree.
Why would Leeds do that? Leeds have stayed up. Just leave it alone.
Exactly.
I understand Burnley doing it, but not Leeds.
Exactly. So we've got to be just an hour, go for another 10 minutes before we wrap up the show. And so for you, for Skibby Marco Silva, I mean, look, is he signed a new deal yet, or is he going to get a new deal, or he came on a 4-year deal, didn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was a good long deal, so I think we've got him for at least 3 years. I know. So yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think he'd be distracted by any sort of new contract now. I think if he was to keep us in the Premier League, then definitely a new deal would be on the table. But I think for now, to go on the current one, focus on the league, focus on the pitch, and try and spur out the results exactly how he has been. But I think I speak for every fan to say that we would very, very much welcome him to stay for a little bit longer if he wishes. So the way that he's been getting us playing, especially, so absolutely wouldn't want him to move on. But hopefully, no bigger clubs start to look at him a little bit now. He's taken that time, matured as a manager. And hopefully we don't lose him and get picked off as small clubs do. We're very used to that. So let's see.
Fingers crossed. We go through this comment, so we're going to get the score predictions as well. And I was at a cottage in 778 when Peter Reif scored with Alan Shaw and John Connolly. So drunk afterwards. Wow. That's NUFC Matter says Burnley and Leeds dropped their complaints against Everton. And my predicted scoreline, we comment out in a bit, and 3-1, like in 78. So Stephen's going 3-1. score predictions, because you're the guest, Skibby. What gives you a score prediction, mate, for Saturday's game, tomorrow's game? And just to let you know, Tony, as well, Palhinha suspended. Makes his favourite player.
Yeah, so I think with that, we're probably going to see a difference in defending. So therefore, even though you don't have Isaac available and potentially Wilson not 100%, I do see Newcastle scoring. But going forward, I still feel that the home advantage, the smaller pitch will work in our favour. And I think that if Mitro is still scoring like he is off the back of that international break where he bagged a hat-trick, I think, and then a goal against Norway, that I reckon we'll still see some goals from Fulham. So I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I do see Fulham coming out on top with a 3-2 win.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Everton charged 300k for pitch invasion, but no mention of a knife incident. The Premier League bottled it big time. Bruno Eddie looked terrible in FIFA 23. Dylan Stevenson scored against the Borough in the reserves for 4-0 in a Tyne-Tees derby. And the graphics are awful. Do you know what? I'm thinking of getting
First world problems.
What's that, Annie?
First world problems. I like coffee. First world problems.
Not good, not good. But if Silva ever leaves, there's only Felix Magath. Felix Magath, remember him?
Oh, I've tried to forget.
Talking about Felix.
Put your cheese.
Talking about Felix Magath, his ex-assistant is now the new Huddersfield manager, which I found
really
interesting.
Mark
Fotheringham. I don't know if he played for
that's
Fulham
right.
or not.
He signed him as a midfielder, and he played as well. He was woeful. But
wow, that is not good. That is not good. It looks like we've got to get Moussa Diaby quickly, Tony, because his side, a 2-0 down against Bayern Munich, Bayern to Leverkusen 0, and they're in serious trouble at this moment in time. We've got to get this guy in January.
We've got to, but then, as I said, John, we need to hope that he doesn't feature a lot for France in the World Cup, and we don't want him playing starting games and playing well for France. We want him to have a crap World Cup, really. So we can get him, because if he has a great World Cup, Leverkusen's going to stick that price up quite high. I don't know if you saw the team for tonight, John, against Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Mark Gillespie's actually in goal for Newcastle.
Actually, I saw that. Bonso's playing as well. Let's hope he does well. Hope he does well.
There's no Isaac Westendorf in the team, which is interesting. Could that mean he could be on our bench tomorrow?
Could very well be. It's always a clue. Could very well be.
He normally plays, and we've got a trialist playing as well at number 11. So I don't know who that is. And Alex Murphy's the captain tonight for us as well.
Brilliant. This is not Jacob Murphy, yeah? You know what I mean?
I think he's a better Murphy than Jacob Murphy.
Indeed, just my guy. He is. Love it. Annie, score prediction, Fulham Newcastle.
Now, obviously Newcastle, in terms of quality, probably edge it, but there is, again, injuries for Newcastle. But the way Fulham are playing at the moment, the confidence surely is high in that dressing room. If, let's say, Mitrovic is fit, and I think he probably will start. If he doesn't, then is it going to be Carlos Vinicius comes in?
Yeah.
Then he was okay for Spurs. How quickly he's going to gel into this Fulham team, I'm not so sure. So let's say Mitrovic does start, then I can see Fulham getting a draw. I can see them getting possibly a 1-1, maybe a 2-2. Again, don't think that Newcastle dressing room is quite high in confidence. It's fit. I've heard the word flat being described, used to describe Newcastle quite a lot over the international break. So yeah, can see Fulham getting a draw. Another draw for Newcastle.
Fair enough.
1-1 or 2-2, one of them.
Cool. Chris Wood for Mitrovic swap when the January window's open. Skippy?
No.
Hey!
I tried to give you a more of a diplomatic answer, but no. Yeah, all right.
Not for you. Not for you.
No.
And I get what you mean, mate. I know exactly what you mean. Leslie Top, you know what? I'm not going to go on here. I'm not going to be falling for that, by the way. I've fallen in most of the time, so it's not going to happen again. Tony, you gave us a score prediction. You said 2-1 to Newcastle, right?
Yeah, I've just got that feeling, John, because the thing is, we've had the draw against Palace, where we played well, but we just didn't put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And against Bournemouth, we were really poor. We should have beat that Bournemouth team, if I'm honest, John. I mean, not being funny, if Forest can score 2 against them, why the hell couldn't we get 2 against them? And the problem is we just didn't have that creativity and we just didn't have that nous to unlock their defence. That's the problem. That was the big problem. And it took a penalty to, for us to score. So I think Eddie Howe's probably worked with the team over the international break with what players were there, because obviously quite a few were away on international duty. Mm-hmm. And I think Eddie Howe will say, right, okay, this is how I want us to play against Fulham, and you'll want to see improvement. And we can't keep having these bad games. So I think we'll play a lot better tomorrow than we did against Bournemouth. And I think there'd be a huge improvement on that performance. The only thing I would say is, and it's probably not going to happen, but if ESM's back, I would draw that we put ESM on the right, and I want to see Miggy on the left, because Miggy plays better on the left. I've had the stats up on screen before, John.
Yes, you did.
We looked at the stats from when he started in the Paraguay League through the MLS, and when he played under Rafa for them first 10 games. And every time he was on the left, and he was devastating from the left. But, and Steve Bruce, well, he just sort of like said, look, he did play wherever you want, because that's the type of manager he was. And, even on the training ground, Steve Bruce used to just throw the ball in the middle of the field and say, kick him out while he'll stand there eating his kebab or having his Greg sausage roll. But under Eddie Howe, he's playing as a right winger. And Eddie Howe's trying to use him as an inverted winger, and it's just not happening. And I want to see Almiron on the left. I would love to see him on the left, but I just don't know what stats Eddie's looking at or his stats guys are looking at, because if they do delve into them and look at them stats, they'll see Almiron is more suited on the left than he is on the right. And we know ESM can do from the right because he's done it, and also you'll have Trippier with him, so even better, But I'm still going 2-1 to us, but I want to see huge improvement tomorrow, and I want to see a better performance from us as well.
110%, Tony. So I'm going to bring it up in a minute, by the way. I'm going to give my prediction as well. I'm going to say 1 each. It's going to be a tough game, 1 each. And I think Skibby would be happy with that as well. And a draw, I take it all day long. So 1 each. And I think a goal's going to be scored by Wilson. And shockers as well. Go for this console wrap up, by the way. I'm Wilson, back lad, say no more. 2 coin affairs. Can you say the subscribe button, please, mate? Thank you. All depends on who's available for us. I take it a draw right now. I think Fulham to win 2-1 though. So Foxy is going for Fulham. Florence all over it. That's in Chelsea OG. Big improvements to Tony, mate, and Safe Trip and 290. We're at the rail service. Best fans in the world. And does Fulham have any weakness? Did you have any weakness before we wrap up, Skibby?
Well, it's interesting. So Tony talking about switching, say, Maximan to the right. And I think we'll pinpoint exactly what we were talking. Well, if he starts, and then we were talking about Tim Ream earlier being that sort of makeshift left back. Yeah, so if you put Maximan on the right, and Tim Ream is starting on the left back, he's going to have a torrid time against ASM. So that would definitely be the weak spot. I mean, I love Tim Ream to bits. I think he's a solid centre back, but when you're asking for the left back or the fullbacks having pace, that's where the weakness is going to be. And I think, and I do think that even though I do really like Tosin, he is young still. He is prone to an injury, sort of a mistake. So if anything's going to happen, it's going to be kind of our own undoing from the defence.
Yeah, absolutely right. I totally agree. But he may not be playing tomorrow. I can't see ASM playing tomorrow. So, Skibby, you're quite lucky.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I'll take it all day long.
very lucky. But he'll be back soon. He'll be back soon. Hopefully against United. But anyway, we're going to wrap up there, guys. And thanks so much for coming on. And before we go as well, we're going to get you, Skibby. Where can you find you, man? On YouTube? Do you have YouTube, or
you can find me on the Putney Perspective is my YouTube channel. It's very brand new, so something I'm doing for Fulham. But also I do generic football as well. The Football Social. You can find us on Twitter. And we're also on YouTube as well, sort of following anything from Premier League to League Two as well. So but thank you very much for having me on, guys. Really enjoyed it.
No problem at all. Don't go away yet, but we are going to subscribe to your channel as well. And Annie, where can we find you on your socials, mate?
So you can find me on YouTube, Talk. I make videos on that unfortunate football club. But yeah, just about City. Just generally, we're talking about football in general. Twitter at Annie Harris as well. 5. You can find me there. I usually have a lot of arguments. It's a lot of banter between me and other fan bases. I like to stir the pot, let's just say. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram as well. Just basically promoting my stuff. So yeah.
Big up. Brilliant stuff. And Tully, where could you find you as well, mate? And I'm going to get this up as well. If I can find it now. There you go.
So, first of all, there's a brand new website. Sefton Mag, who's actually in our chat tonight, he actually come up with this website and made this website for the Northwest Mags. Great to be part of that crew. It's an absolute brilliant website. It's been going for 3 weeks now. There's lots of information, lots of stuff to do in there. There's a section about us, so it tells you about how the website came about. There's a forum in there, so you can have discussions with other like-minded fans, Newcastle fans, and have you see on football matches or the club in general. So click on there and have a look into that and delve into that and leave your messages. The team's on there, so like I'm on there and other people. There's a gallery, so if you've as I've said before, if you've got your Toon shirt on wherever you are in the country or abroad or anywhere in the world, and you've got selfies with your top and that on, there's a little envelope sign there. Just click on that and send your photos over, and Sefton, I'm sure, will add them into the gallery. There's a blog and there's a lot there to have a look. So check it out. www.northwestmags.com. Great website, and and give Sefton a lot of support on it, because it's an absolute brilliant thing that he's actually done, and he's got many of us on there, the channels like Newcastle podcast channels, we're on there, John, and amongst other ones as well. So so yeah, give it a check out and have a look. It's a really good site, and if you want to follow me, I'm down there at TonyTooney31. Give me a follow on Twitter and I'll follow you straight back, or whenever's possible.
Brilliant.
Just don't do it in the middle of the night, because I won't be up in the middle of the night. I'll be in bed asleep.
Brilliant stuff.
And Annie, I know you're saying about your club, but not being funny, your club's not doing too bad this season, and you're not far outside the playoffs. So technically, do you know what? I would love to see your club
Tony,
do well
Tony, I've watched this club for 3 years. We've had a good start for most of them, and I've gone, this could be, this positivity. We just crashed to earth. It's not really. I'm not really getting excited at this point in time. If we're here by World Cup or around this bit of World Cup, then maybe. But at this point, I'm not getting anywhere near excited. Not a chance.
Do you not think it's? It's not a bad thing. I'm going to share this on screen anyway, John. Before we wrap up anyway.
Okay.
And there we go. So there we are. We have the championship table. So if we look at this table, I mean, Reading last season, they finished, I think, 4th bottom, didn't they? And look where they are now, 3rd top under Paul Ince, just outside the automatic places. And obviously, Annie's Bristol City is down here in 9th, 14 points. The only 1 point off the outside the playoffs. And to be honest with you,
we play QPR tomorrow as well.
See, there's a 6-pointer. So if you beat QPR, you're in the playoffs tomorrow. And do you not think Nigel Pearson's doing a good job this season?
Look, he's done a really good job transitioning us from a defensive mess, a team that was defensive that couldn't defend. Make that make sense. Overpaid players who did literally zilch. So yeah, he has done very well. We're a much more attacking type team now, but it's the defense that worries me. If you look at the goals against, we've conceded 16, which is by far the worst in the bottom. Top half. So yeah, I'm not really getting excited at this point. It's a good start. We'll probably now stabilise anywhere near the top half. Actually, top half is probably where I'm expecting us to be come the end of the season. So yeah,
it's a bit of progress. So, isn't it? That's what you got to look at.
A lot of progress.
It's progress. And
a lot of progress.
Go down towards the bottom. Nope, there's Steve Bruce just outside there. West Brom, Middlesbrough's in the bottom 3 this season at the minute. So yeah, not having a great time. Middlesbrough, are they?
Not really. Not in
the
wild.
Borough just not clicked, to be honest. They've played quite poorly in most games.
Our neighbours are.
Sunderland.
Longer. Yeah, they won't be there much longer. They'll be dropping down.
To be honest, Tony, I don't know about that. They're looking a proper unit. They've got rock solid defense and a pretty damn good attack as well. I don't know about if they're going to drop or not. If you look at the bottom 3, they're all going to shoot up surely, but I don't see some really dropping out at this point. They're looking good.
I mean, Sheffield United look like they're gonna stroll that league the way they're going on.
Honestly, they'll boss this division. They've got way too much quality. They'll boss it. They'll absolutely boss it.
I think it'll be there. Norwich will come up.
Oh, agreed. They've looked a team with so much confidence under Paul Heckingbottom, who was very good last season as well. They're going to boss this division. They couldn't get into the playoffs. Couldn't win the playoffs, but this season they just got too much quality.
Yeah,
I agree.
Skibby should know they lost. Fulham lost 4-0 at their place at last game of the season as well, which took me a bit by surprise. But should not just got too much quality at this point.
Yeah. They're going to boss it this season. Sheffield United, too strong. Well, guys, going to wrap it up there. But thanks so much again. If you like my video, like what you see, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you like the super chat, click on the $sign. And if you'd like to become a member, then it is only 99p to join. And we should be back tomorrow. I'm going to try and come for the warm up tomorrow, Tony, but I'll get my car sorted. But hopefully get it done by 1 o'clock, and I'll whiz back. Even if I'm late 1:45, if we do 45 minutes, we'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I should be there as well. Just a couple more comments for the wrap up. Good evening to you, Wayne from Fulham fan. I'm just planning on the championship on the mic. We would have been there exactly. Fulham fan, just like to say, we will win against Newcastle on Saturday, and we're a very strong team, and we are very fit under Marvel. Silva is our standing manager, and Fulham to win by 2-1. That's from Wayne. So make the best team win, and see what happens tomorrow. Guys. So, guys, thanks for coming on, and it's been a pleasure joining. Make sure you come back against Gibby. It'd be fantastic to have you
anytime.
On. And as you, Annie, it's always great to come on. You know that we've got to do a championship show one day on my channel. That'd be amazing. Thanks for coming on, and I shall see you guys very, very soon. And a winner, lads, and good luck tomorrow, mate.
Goodbye.
Take care.
Yeah, good luck. Enjoy it, and safe travels.
Thank you very much indeed, guys. Take care. If I just get that.